we'll continue to track that moving forward. Again, huge win for Washington. So use that. We're going to get into more just sort of big picture ranking stuff in tomorrow's top 25 today in a little bit, but I am projecting that Washington will take over the number 4 spot. And that is more of the quality of this victory than the news that I think is one of the top headlines coming out of Saturday, which is an absolutely gruesome injury for Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis. You're looking at a slow start for the Seminoles. North Alabama goes up 13-0. They score a touchdown, miss the extra point. Everyone kind of scrambles to get to the CW, which of course the C in CW stands for cursed. Because if you're a favorite, you lose. And if you're a favorite by 1 billion against an FCS team, you lose your quarterback. Because apparently those are the rules of this. Just kidding. CW, y'all have been awesome. James Bates, you're my guy. Your reading of Love Island, of F-Boy Island promos are fantastic. It's true. I don't know if you ever heard James Bates read an F-Boy Island promo.
Oh, yeah.
It's elite. So I want to give credit while also acknowledging the absurd results that have happened in this particular television time slot. But on a serious note, how about this? On number 1, you're just sort of general thoughts, but to spin this thing forward, we got to see a lot of Tate in this game. And you've known this quarterback for a long time. So with the acknowledgement that all judgment and expectations of the Seminoles for the rest of this season, which has been shifting for the program. First ACC championship game since 2014. You're on the verge of being back in the playoff for the first time since 2014. No matter what happens from here on out, you have already put yourself in a position where you have leveled. Mike Norvell in his climb has leveled up to a place where Florida State expects to be. So what are we going to get out of Tate, and what just sort of your general thoughts on Jordan Travis and what was a really tough injury?
Yeah, so I thought that Washington was going to jump FSU if they had won the game anyway. I think we said it on the Thursday show. Their resume would be better than what the Noles have through 11 weeks or 12 weeks. Yeah, right. Assuming they won. I mean,
right.
At the time we were discussing it, they were an underdog. So, and it's basically like if you went out, you're in. Now, I'm sure we'll get into that later on because the whole Cardale Jones thing and whatnot. But Tate is unquestionably in my mind a downgrade from Jordan Travis. Tate isn't terrible, but I don't necessarily think he's maybe best case is good, but I'm very skeptical of that, honestly, right? But we have seen him come in and kind of not panic and win games in the past. Last year they were down to Louisville. Jordan Travis gets rolled up and he leads them to a big second half comeback on a Thursday night. So I guess it's foreseeable or possible that they can still win 2 more ball games, but they could also lose to Florida and they could also lose to Louisville, right? If they win both, I'll be pretty damn impressed. It just really sucks for Jordan, man. I mean, the guy's worked so hard. He's had a bunch of injuries. He's having an awesome season. I mean, I don't think he was going to win the Heisman. I think there's some shot he could have gone to New York, but obviously not now. But I mean, just my hope is just he doesn't have long-term damage, right? That looked bad, really bad. The cart came out, but the cart's running out there, as everybody else is running out there to check on him. You could just see it on the broadcast. I mean, it's a clear downgrade. It sucks for the Noles. It really sucks for Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to add to it.
It felt like Dennis Dixon, except they didn't lose. You guys remember Dennis Dixon? Was it 07?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, when his leg kind of just
looked like Alvin Mack.
Yeah,
it's
or Jason Kendall.
Oh, ugh.
Yeah.
Let's just go. Let's just name old gruesome injuries.
Oh, no, let's not actually.
I mean, yeah, it's just trying to spin it forward, trying to put it aside as best as you can. It's the Florida team they're going to face next week is also going to have a backup QB. Graham Mertz looked like he broke his collarbone to me tonight against Mizzou. So Max Brown will be starting for Florida. So, I mean, obviously, it's going to be difficult without Jordan Travis, but I still think Florida State can win next week. I think the real question comes in the ACC championship game. But yeah, it's a terrible injury, and there was never going to be a good time for it to happen. But this is a really bad time for it to happen.
Chat wants to know, like, will they make it if they went out without Jordan Travis?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think we'll have to see. Like, how does he look? We only have one data point on this.
I mean, if Ohio State and Michigan are going to play next week, so one of them is going to get knocked out.
That's fair.
So if Florida State wins out and Washington wins out, they're both getting in. And then it's going to be the other either two SEC teams or an SEC team and a Big 12 champion.
The only one we have is what, Cardale?
Yeah. For what?
For backup
like
QBs.
The precedent of like losing your quarterback. Now, obviously, with the BCS, we had Winky when he broke his neck.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But that was BCS. That wasn't so much a committee. I tend to think that it's certainly not automatically disqualifying, but I think they would have to see how they look and how everything else shakes out. But do you want to set the precedent for keeping an undefeated team out from Power 5 conference? Probably not.
You don't want to trot out the selection committee chair, Boo Corrigan, to say, well, they're 13-0 and they won the ACC championship, but
the ACC sucks.
Yeah, says NC State Athletic Director Boo Corrigan. But like seriously, you're not going to use that, especially considering the fact that beating Louisville will be minimum a top 15 win. So let's say Louisville
top 10 win.
Well, if
assuming they don't lose to Kentucky, yeah,
I'm giving the safety net of losing to Kentucky. But the fact that you are a one-loss team going into the final week of the regular season, that is a quality victory for Florida State, one way or the other. In Charlotte.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Hey, don't laugh this off. You should be thankful. All right, there was a scenario that had Virginia Tech as the opponent, because then all of a sudden we are actually very concerned about Florida State's status on Selection Sunday if that 13th data point is against the Hokies, but it's going to be against a one-loss or two-loss team at a minimum.
And speaking of Virginia Tech, that Ohio State team with a third-string QB that got into the playoff that year with one loss, that one loss was to a bad Virginia Tech team. So
they also won the whole damn thing.
Mm-hmm. They did. After being written off by everybody who had no idea how the playoff worked yet.
Well, it was the first year.
Chip, I knew. I was telling all season they were going to get in.